So last time we finished the Crimson Fleet, Andreja got me kicked out of SysDef, so we said fuck it. Let's get back to it. Speak with Andreja. Alright. Hey.
All those credits. And you just handed them over to the Crimson Fleet.
Whoops. You don't approve?
You even need to ask such a question? But do not turn this around on me. Explain to me why you would do such a thing. All those credits. And you just handed them over to the Crimson Fleet.
Because you got me kicked out of SysDef. Whatever, it was more about punishing the UC.
I have no love for the United Colonies government. But do you not think this is more than a bit extreme?
Yeah, this is what's called sticking it to the man.
So you have done this to make some kind of point? To whom? All you have truly done is embolden these pirates and put the lives of who knows how many others across the settled systems at risk.
DLSS glitch? Alright, let's not piss waifu off. I wasn't thinking about who else might be affected.
Clearly not. There are few easy choices in life, but I believe this was easier than most.
Maybe I've made a mistake.
At least you see it now. If only you had seen it sooner. I cannot tell you what to do, nor force you to do anything. I ask only that you think about the consequences of your actions, and how far-reaching they can be.
Okay.
You need something, dearest?
I have a feeling today's going to be a great day. Don't you agree?
You say that every day.
If we can avoid entering that building, I would prefer it. Let us just say I am allergic to bureaucracy.
Welcome to Mast. If you have an appointment, you may proceed inside. Only those on official United Colonies business can access the building.
I'm looking for work.
Most of Mast's employees have extensive training in their specific areas of expertise.
How about a Starborn?
But if you're interested in joining the UC, Commander Tuala of the Vanguard is just on the far side of the room. The Vanguard's open to anyone who can fly. Enjoy your time in New Atlantis.
Hello.
What do we got here? Another applicant to the UC Vanguard? Interested in doing some good for the people of the United Colonies, all while earning your citizenship and credits to boot?
Service guarantees citizenship. Wait, I was born in the UC. I'm not a citizen already?
Oh, well, no. UC citizenship is earned through service to the UC. Should have covered that in your civics classes. But if you're that interested, I'm happy to help you get started in applying to join the UC Vanguard right now.
What's the Vanguard?
We're the United Colonies volunteer fleet. Any captain can join, regardless of origin. Get to fly your own ship and earn credits as you help the people in the most distant reaches of the United Colonies, all while earning your way to UC citizenship. Put in the time, and citizenship is guaranteed.
Why would I want to become a UC citizen?
Well, other than becoming a member of the greatest faction in the galaxy, you'd get access to discounted services on any UC world. Credits to help you get on your feet. You'd even be able to buy property right here in New Atlantis. Citizenship unlocks it all, and signing up for the Vanguard is the fastest way to earn it.
Sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Glad to hear it. Signing up simple. All you've got to do is pass a flight exam and make it through one probationary mission and you're in. We'll have you working your way to UC citizenship in no time.
What sort of work would I be doing if I enlisted?
Vanguard work is as needed. When we've got jobs, we'll make them available to you. But the work itself, well, it runs the gamut. Sometimes you might be hunting down hostile ships on behalf of the UC Navy, or you might be called up to help the Science Division clean up some invasive species. Hell, we've even been asked to help take on the occasional terramorph. And sometimes we just need cargo support. Not every job's glamorous. The Vanguard only gets called in for the ones where there's a chance of seeing action. Wherever the UC needs us, the Vanguard is there.
Mind explaining to me what I'd get from becoming a UC citizen again?
Well, other than becoming a member,
Okay, great.
you'd even be able to buy...
Okay, I'm game. Just tell me what I need to do next.
Well, all right. Take the elevator down to the Vanguard Orientation Hall. You can get started at any of the registration terminals. The system will walk you through the rest. And if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
What? What? Oh, okay. That was a roundabout. Applicant name Lily Vest, current bounty 0. To register for your examination, please select an enlistment agreement. By joining the United Colonies Vanguard, you agree to perform necessary services for the United Colonies that could place you in serious danger, resulting in harm to your craft or yourself up to and including death. In exchange, the United Colonies Vanguard agrees to compensate all captains according to their experience level and the difficulty of the task required. All applicants will be required to earn a satisfactory grade on a simulated combat flight, successfully complete a probationary mission. Upon the completion of both prerequisites, the United Colonies Vanguard agrees to sponsor your citizenship application and guarantees the granting of a United Colonies citizenship once sufficient time or acts of valor have warranted it. Do you agree to the above commitment and wish to initiate your journey with the United Colonies Vanguard? I, Lily Vess, agree. You may proceed to the examination chamber through the orientation hall.
Registration accepted. You may now proceed through the historical displays in the orientation hall, or continue on to the examination.
In 2150, humanity learned the Earth's magnetosphere would collapse sometime in the next half-century, eliminating all life on the planet. Decisive action was required, but the secure transport of an entire civilization would demand a new kind of cooperation, a new kind of courage, and a new kind of union. Thus, in 2159, the United Colonies were formed to make that journey possible. Just 1 year later, the Galileo, the first of many colony ships, touched down here on Jemison, beginning a new era of human history, the age of the United Colonies.
The exodus from Earth meant more than just the beginnings of the United Colonies. But still, a tremendous undertaking.
It is only now 71 hours into the game that I'm getting a lore dump.
From their foundation, the United Colonies strove to provide all their citizens with opportunity, security, and peace. But there were those among the UC that still wanted something more. Independence. So in 2161, the UC issued the Centaurus Proclamation, granting UC citizens the right to settle distant worlds and form their own sovereign powers. It wasn't long before the first new faction, the Free Star Collective, was formally organized in 2188, later followed by House Varun, revealing themselves to the universe in 2230.
Of course, this has nothing positive to say about House Varun. I should expect no less from the United Colonies.
I mean, they didn't say anything negative either. Oh dear.
It was only in 2230 that the faction known as House Varun first made contact with the rest of the settled systems. Founded by the passengers of a colony ship that had left New Atlantis and disappeared 4 decades earlier, House Varun was a faction unlike any other. A theocracy dedicated wholly to the beliefs of its isolationist founder, Jinan Varun. House Varun initially made overtures of peace towards the rest of the settled systems. They claimed their only intention was to spread the word of their god, the Great Serpent. But none could have guessed that this worship might take the form of a bloody war, the Serpent's Crusade.
Nothing to say to that?
The Freestar Collective was initially founded in 2188, when the citizens of Aquila banded together with the pleasure city of Neon in mutual defense. But in 2194, after the deployment of a UC medical star station in orbit around their world, the citizens of Narion also requested to join the collective. The resulting rise in tensions between the Freestar Collective and UC culminated in the settled system's first intergalactic conflict, the Narion War. Despite a decisive victory by the UC, the colonies permitted the citizens of Narion to join the collective, forming the basis for the fiercely independent union that persists to this day.
Interstellar. Humanity's first interstellar conflict. It all took place in one galaxy.
Beginning in 2240, House Varun forces declared all-out war on the rest of human civilization, initiating the Serpent's Crusade. Over the next 23 years, thousands of Freestar, UC, and independent souls were killed by agents of House Varun in the name of their serpent god. It was only with the death of their founder in 2263 and the succession of his heir Jarek that House Varun finally sued for peace. There remains, however, select members of House Varun who refuse to recognize the cessation of hostilities their leaders established. Even after House Varun's mysterious disappearance, these zealots remain a threat to all who encounter them. Their pacification, a goal of all space.
Beginning in 2196, the Narian War, humanity's first large-scale conflict among the stars, is remembered as a defining moment for the settled systems. As the first major conflict to make extensive use of grab-jump-enabled ships, the Narian War was less defined by key space battles and more by an extended cat-and-mouse interplay between the two powers, as the well-armed and professional UC Navy tried again and again to pin down the piecemeal but savvy Freestar fleet. Unable to strike the killing blow, the UC resorted to ever more severe tactics to try and drive the collective to capitulate, but without success. In fact, after many long years of war with little to show for it, even the populace of the UC itself began to turn against the cause, with protests roiling even New Atlantis, the citizenry demanding the war finally come to a humane close. So, when at long last the final blow was struck, with the UC Navy finally cornering and obliterating the Freestar fleet in 2216, it was a hollow victory. It was from the resulting negotiations, the Treaty of Narion, that the settled systems as we know them today emerged, both literally and figuratively. Despite winning the war, the UC found themselves in an unenviable position, painted as a brutal aggressor even in their home systems. So, in the spirit of unity and lasting peace, the UC agreed to the demands of the Freestar Collective and the Narian settlers, whose collusion triggered the conflict in the first place, and handed over Narion to the Collective as they had requested at the start of hostilities, including the Clinic Medical Star Station, creating the Freestar Collective as we know it to this day. In return, the UC demanded two concessions. The first was payment for damages done in the form of mineral rights on multiple worlds across the galaxy. The second, more significant demand was that no great faction may ever colonize more than 3 systems. The UC would have Alpha Centauri, Sol, and Wolf, and the Freestar Collective, Cheyenne, Vali, and Narion. The Freestar Collective agreed to these terms, creating and codifying into law the settled systems as we know them today. The Treaty of Narion has since become the foundation of all contemporary political relations, and its only violation, the cause of the galaxy's greatest conflict, the Colony War. To learn more about the Colony War, please proceed to the Conflict Among the Stars mural.
UC sank a lot of money into this place. They say it's to teach foreign pilots our history. I think it's more about telling history how they want it told.
Of the many conflicts between the galaxy's factions, none was more brutal than the recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective. Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Narion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy. Both sides deployed every tool at their disposal. Armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xeno-weapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped, The Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted. The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since.
I suspect many in the Freestar Collective would take issue with the way the colony war is represented here.
Yeah, I would say so.
Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nera.
Yeah, Call of Duty is pretty vicious.
Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty. And today, Nera remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war.
Guys. Shared universe with Armored Core, lol.
I bring her here almost every day to stare at this thing. This thing's like an artist's rendition, right? No animal can be this ugly in real life. You know it was some UC general that condemned Londinian? Gave it over to these things. One of these murals said he was executed after the war. Might have gotten off too lightly. I really hope this is just a phase. I really hope this is just a phase.
All 4 of my last science papers have been on terramorphs. Dad wanted me to apply for the administration track at school, but I'm going to be a xenobiologist. It's science division or nothing.
Yeah.
No one knows how they move between planets. I wonder if they can grav jump or something. One of my slates said terramorphs can control people's minds. But that can't be true. Dad wanted me to apply for the administration track. I can't stop. All 4 of my one of my slates said no one knows. All 4 of my last science papers have been on terror. Dad wanted me to apply for the administration track at school, but I'm going to be a xenobiologist. It's science division or nothing.
I'm proud of you, kid.
In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinian. A newly constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies war effort, Londinian found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city, seemingly out of nowhere, on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large. The tragedy of Londinian is mourned by the UC to this day. After the devastation wrought by the Colony War, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xeno-weapons and mech warfare would be outlawed. All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency. But the Collective had another demand, that the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty. Commander Henry Durant, General Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral Francois Sanon, known better as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close, and returning peace to the galaxy at long last.
After everything, it is almost impossible to believe that the armistice happened. But I admit I am glad it did. The settled systems have benefited.
By order of Armistice Article 13-61A. There shall be established a central archive guarded by 3 parties, the Freestar Collective, House Varun, and the United Colonies, for the collection and protection of all knowledge, research, and documentation depicting, describing, or in any way related to technologies and mechanisms banned by this armistice. It shall be governed by the following laws. 1. Access to all information in this archive will be mutually managed by all 3 parties. Access is only permitted by unanimous agreement of authorized faction representatives. 2. The facility will be under direct control of no sovereign faction, with no single party permitted to overrule the others. All decisions regarding matters pertaining to the archives must be unanimous. 3. Any attempt at unauthorized access will be considered an act of aggression against all parties. Each party commits to defend the others against any such attempts. How much you want to bet we're going to be infiltrating that archive in this quest line?
It was into this new world that the Vanguard was born. An official branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical, and reconnaissance roles. And after a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all captains, regardless of origin, the Vanguard is leading the charge to protect and support the citizens of the United Colonies, wherever in the galaxy they may be.
Sup?
Please don't touch the displays. Look, I'm not supposed to be giving opinions on this stuff, but the UC's in a lot better hands these days than back before they signed the armistice.
I'm touching the display.
You looking for the exam room? Just down the hall. Try not to disturb the other patrons, okay? Look, I'm not supposed to be giving... You looking for the exam room? Please don't touch the displays. Try not to disturb the other patrons, okay? You looking for the exam room? Just down the hall. Please don't touch the displays.
What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, that's what I thought.
No one is born a United Colony citizen. Only through service to the UC can one hope to earn one's citizenship. But the UC prides itself on taking care of its people. Cost of living controls means citizens pay less than their foreign counterparts for needs big and small. All citizens are issued a grant upon joining to get themselves on their feet. And only UC citizens have the opportunity to purchase property, getting the chance to live in one of the most beautiful cities in the settled systems. By joining the Vanguard today, you too can begin earning your place here, in the heart of galactic civilization, as a citizen of the United Colonies.
My parents own property. Are they citizens? Does that mean that they were in the Vanguard? Or are there other ways to get citizenship? Alright, BRB.
You could not pay me enough to get in one of those things.
Alright, let's do this. Oh, Andreja, you got the door for me. Thank you so much.
To the piloting simulation chamber. Please enter the designated simulation pod to initiate your exam.
Hi.
Ah, you must be our new applicant. I'm Proctor Samuelson. The simulator's already been prepped. You can head in whenever you're ready.
Can you tell me about this exam?
Of course. You'll be running through a high-realism combat. Your task is to defeat...
Hold on.
And your enlistment, but you're welcome to... We'll only keep the high... Just head in whenever you're ready.
Alright, let's check the, let's check the frame gen mod page. Alright, no update on the frame gen mod. Alright, looks like there's new DLSS DLLs. Let's put them new DLLs in there. See if that fixes it. Alright, there's DLSS 3.5. DLSSG 3.5.10. Alright, these DLLs both came out like 9 days ago, so I'm hoping that's the reason that it's being kind of weird.
Just head in whenever you're ready. You'll need to defeat at least 3 tiers of opponents to pass, but defeating additional opponents is encouraged.
Alright, can you tell me about this exam?
Of course. You'll be running through a high-realism combat flight simulation, engineered by members of the UC science staff, right here in Mast. Your task is to defeat at least 3 tiers of simulated opponents. Accomplish that, and you pass the exam, and can then proceed on to your probationary mission. However, if you defeat more than 3 tiers of enemies, your required enlistment time for citizenship will be reduced, and your enlistment bonus increased. But you're welcome to try as many times as you like before returning to Commander Tuala to proceed on to the next step in your application process. We'll only keep the highest score you manage to achieve in there.
Got any advice?
While I can't answer that question directly, I will say this. Due to the solitary nature of our work, resourcefulness is a critical tool in any Vanguard pilot's repertoire. You're permitted, even encouraged, to use whatever tool you're able to find in there.
Piloting isn't my area of expertise. How about you just mark me down as a pass and I head out?
Vanguard assignments can often include both space and ground combat. It'd be bad for both you and the United Colonies to not ensure you're adept in both capacities before sending you out on your first real assignment.
What kind of ship am I going to be flying?
The simulator is designed to be a near-perfect replica of a Class B Deimos hoplite, the United Colony's standard destroyer model.
So it's going to suck compared to my Starborn Guardian.
But fair fight against the enemy squadrons you'll encounter inside. Good hunting.
Alright, the black flickering seems to have stopped. Looks like it was just outdated DLSS DLLs.
Whew.
This is the Mark 18 Flight Simulation Chamber applicant, currently in orbit around a high-detail recreation of a remote world. When you're ready to begin, please take a seat in the pilot's chair. Your exam is simple. Defeat as many tiers of opponents as you can before your ship is disabled. You must defeat at least 3 tiers of opponents to pass the exam. Good hunting, applicant.
New targets active. All targets eliminated. Progress recorded. Tier 1 reached. Initiating Tier 2. New targets active.
Target elimination imminent. You'll have to try harder than that.
I just hit R to reload.
Target defeated.
All targets eliminated. Progress recorded. Tier 2 reached. Initiating Tier 3. New targets active. Progress recorded. Tier 3 reached.
Congratulations, applicant. You've defeated sufficient opponents to pass the exam. You may now exit the simulator through the hatch to record your current score, or stay and try your hand at the remaining tiers.
Let's kill the sons of bitches.
Resuming the examination.
New targets active.
Is this your first time flying?
All targets eliminated.
All right.
Progress recorded.
That was a little
Tier
tougher.
4 reached. Initiating Tier 5. New targets active.
Oh shit.
Defeated.
Oh my god. I don't have any more stuff to fix my ship with. I'm dead.
Halting the simulation. You have passed, applicant. You may proceed to the exit hatch to log your results, or restart the exam from the simulation's control terminal.
Whatever, good enough.
Shutting down.
Congratulations, applicant. You've passed. You can head up to Commander Tuala to receive your final results and your probationary assignment. Or you're welcome to take another run at the simulation if you'd like to try and earn a better score. We'll only keep your best run.
Nah, I'm good. Chef! What up, dude?
Ah, there you are.
Heartfelt
Believe
thanks.
we've got some
I am pleased
things
beyond
to
words.
discuss, applicant.
Yeah.
Chef, thank you so much for being subscribed for 61 months. Actually, 5 years. Jesus fuck. My first sub, still going strong. Thank you so much, dude. Please continue to enjoy your sub badger emotes and your ad-free viewing experience. Just got home, was out with friends, can't wait for the middle of next year. Why? What's the middle of next year? You'll hit 69
You're all
months.
day if you've got something else on your mind.
Nice. I wrapped up my piloting exam and they told me to come back here.
About that, an alert came up on your file. Said you were the one working with SysDef when they went belly up against the Crimson Fleet.
Oh.
Now, a person can draw a lot of conclusions from an outcome like that, you being one of the few who walked away from that battle. But in the Vanguard, we're serious about our take-all-comers policy, regardless of their past. Hell, If we turned down every former pirate trying to get back on the straight and narrow, we'd be without some of our finest pilots. Not that I'm saying that applies here. I just need to know, if that were the case, then that part of your life is in the past.
Nuts to this. Crimson Fleet forever. What happens if you say no? I don't know. Let's find out. Nuts to this. Crimson Fleet forever.
I'm gonna let you take some time to rethink that answer, all right? Come back when you've had a change of heart. Displays in the orientation hall are all optional, but encouraged if you're not all that familiar with UC history.
0 consequences. This time around, yes. But Andreja did get me kicked out of SysDef. I didn't pick the Crimson Fleet. I was going to side with the Crimson Fleet in New Game Plus 2. Imagine she... I mean, you can say boo 0 consequences. But at the same time...
Everything all right?
Even I would think it was fucked up if Andreja being a goof could get you locked out of 2 quest lines.
So, you thought more about joining us?
Invisible
The Vanguard isn't
clipboard.
about to turn you down just because of what happened with SysDef. So long as you can assure me that part of your life is in the past.
You've got my word. This is where I want to be.
That's good to hear. Just keep your nose clean and I'm sure we'll get along just fine. Now, that out of the way, you ready to take a look at those exam scores? See how you did?
I am impressed it came up. That is an improvement over old Bethesda. Because you can be a legate in the Imperial Legion and assassinate the Emperor of Tamriel. And it just never comes up. I'm ready.
Let's get to him. So, looking at the data, hit every mural in the orientation hall, huh? A test of preparation and thoroughness. 2 traits the Vanguard values highly. Your physiological results
Mr.
are...
Government Man.
Huh. That's odd. System couldn't get a read on you.
Starborn,
You
bitch.
get your kicks flying too close to stars? Because you're putting out some interesting radiation. Don't worry though, it's not going to affect your score. It's just, different is all. But, where were we? Now, how'd you do against your foes? Tier 4. Not too shabby. The techs make us test each level of the sim too. I can tell you that wave are some real artificial bastards. Good job putting them away.
If I had any reservations about flying with you, they are now gone. Well done.
Where are you?
So then, looking at your results as a whole, and presuming you're successful in completing your probationary mission, you could have your UC citizenship after only 10 years service. Pretty standard for combat assignments. But your performance in the simulator does mean I can offer a signing bonus.
What's up,
Help
bunny?
convince you to join the cause.
10 years can be a long time.
Jesus
You
fuck.
must be certain it is something you actually care about.
So, sounds to me like we've got Vanguard material on our hands.
Oh.
If you're interested, we could bring you on as a provisional member today. Get you the credits you've earned, then send you out on your probationary mission. First, though, all UC service people, provisional or otherwise, are required to swear an oath. So, you want to make this official? Commit yourself to the cause of the colonies?
I don't remember Sarah being this goofy. Just chilling your back and lurking. Gotta love how she speaks from some random void as if she's close by. I mean, she is close by. I think she's just like standing next to a wall or something. By the way, Chef, can we get a shout out for Bunny, please? And thank you. Can we do this under the table? I like to operate independently.
You're not in the Freestar Collective here.
Thank you, Chef.
Vanguard keeps its work above board. You want in, you have to do the same as everyone else. And that starts with the oath.
Start making gelato at 8:30 p.m. It is 8:30 p.m. Have fun. By the way, having now thoroughly experienced a lot of the factions in this game, I have to say I'm absolutely a Freestar guy. Or at least I would be if not for the cowboy aesthetic, which I don't care for. Starfield hitless, let's go. Nah, I'm good.
Just mull it over.
What's up, Mateo? Hey, speaking of Freestar Collective, for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I made a funny tweet. When you return to New Atlantis after having spent too much time with the Freestar Collective.
I'm on tax duty tomorrow. Can't wait.
It's a big decision. Want some reflection.
Love the little touch of giving people idle lines if you sit too long, waiting to select a dialogue option. Yeah, it's nice when they do that in games.
Fantastic.
Nice editing, thank you.
Just follow me.
You really should follow me on Twitter. I post some good shit there.
A ship like yours has scary written all over it. Keep the stay short, okay?
What's Twitter?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant X.
Oh no, it's still bugging. God damn it, Bethesda, just implement DLSS frame generation natively.
Wouldn't be right doing this where we couldn't see the stars. Now, raise your right hand. The motto of the Vanguard is Supra et Ultra, above and beyond. That is where we serve, beyond the furthest reaches of the United Colonies military, and with honor and duty above reproach. Do you swear to protect and defend the citizens of the United Colonies to the best of your abilities, and to uphold the values of the Vanguard, honor, loyalty, self-reliance, in all your actions as a member of the United Colonies Navy?
Man, oaths, Latin references, getting big Empire vibes. Don't swear, fuck sysdef. This isn't sysdef, this is the Vanguard. I already destroyed sysdef. I'm not normally big into commitment, but for you, fine.
I guess I'll take it. Then let me be
Fuck the Vanguard.
to officially welcome you to the United Colonies Vanguard. Now, only thing left is getting you that probationary mission. And what I've got is comms repair. Group trying to refurb an old colony war processing plant on Tau Ceti 2. Sounds like they'd barely gotten set up when their communications died. Place is as isolated as they come, so Brass wants a Vanguard to deliver the repair suite and ensure anyone present is safe and secure. So, can the people of Tau Ceti 2 count on you?
Getting big Tamrielic Empire vibes, also getting big Starship Trooper vibes. With the whole service guarantees citizenship thing. Hey, I'm getting paid, right? I'm sure.
Oh, that's the spirit. Head down to the spaceport and talk to Crew Chief Harath. He'll get you the repair suite plus your new recruit kit. Oh, and your advance. Give it your all out there. Supra et Ultra.
Oh, damn. Okay, never mind. Maybe I won't mind working for these people. You did like the twist in this quest line? By the way, this is why frame generation native implementation is so badly needed. I'm on a 5800X and a 4070 Ti. Well over recommended spec. With frame generation, I am getting 90 FPS. If I turn it off, look at this garbage. Bethesda, native implementation, please.
I have a feeling today's going to be a great day. Don't you agree?
Mobile Andrew now. Imagine watching on mobile.
Ever wonder how the Crimson Fleet seems to be everywhere?
You're watching mobile? Ew. You know, right? I'm not saying ill for me, I'm saying ill for you.
Any adventure you can fly away from.
Wait, shit. I didn't get my stuff. What's happening? God damn it, Bethesda. Late can't be staying on your PC. Since you have bad back problems recently, use mobile more. If you can't run this game, you are scum, fucking hobo, poor as shit human trash. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's exactly what Todd Howard said. Word for word. That's sarcasm, Bunny. So, for full context, this was in the context of an interview with, who was it? I think it might have been like NBC Financial or something like that.
People joke. Say those Varun zealots worship a snake.
And the interviewer, like, this is literally how he asked the question. This was his exact phrasing. Why didn't you optimize the game for PC? Which is just about the shittiest way to ask that question. But it's true, it's not. Because clearly optimization took place. It's not as optimized as many of us would prefer.
Shocked you managed to live back here at all. Pull it for leeches, get it fixed up, and let her know we'll have it ready as soon as we can.
Yes, sir.
Ah, you are new probationary then? Crew Chief Herat. Pleasure to be working with you.
It's my job to make sure all you rocket jockeys are ready for anything that comes at you up there. Now, Manifest says we're fitting you out with one comms repair suite.
In addition to the standard issue welcome kit all probationary pilots get for their first mission. Med packs, some small arms, couple spare ship parts, all the essentials in case of any surprises up there.
My people will have everything on your ship before you lift off. Won't even know they were there. So, paying a visit to the people of scenic Tau Ceti 2. Nice easy one for your first job. Just keep your head on swivel and you'll come home safe. Any questions before you head out?
Look, I knew this game's performance was gonna be fucked when it was announced to be an AMD-sponsored game. I knew that up front. I knew it was going to be fucked for one simple reason.
Awkward silence. Fun.
Let me pull up the data so you know that I'm not fucking around with you. So these sponsored games, they're either bundled with AMD GPUs or NVIDIA GPUs. NVIDIA states flat out that they do not prevent sponsored games from implementing competitor technologies.
Anybody home?
So here's a table of all the games recently that have been bundled with a specific GPU vendor and the date when FSR or DLSS was implemented. Redfall, same date. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, AMD sponsored game, does not have DLSS. Although Redfall was an NVIDIA game, it has both on the same day. Dead Island 2, AMD sponsored game, no DLSS. Last of Us Part 1, AMD sponsored game, same day. RE4 Remake, AMD sponsored game, no DLSS. Forspoken, AMD sponsored game, same date. Notice, Forspoken and Last of Us, both Sony games. Callisto Protocol, AMD sponsored game, no DLSS. Midnight Suns, Nvidia, same day. Warhammer 40k Darktide, Nvidia game, same day. Uncharted, Sony game, AMD, same day. Saints Row, AMD sponsored game, no DLSS. Spider-Man, Sony game, Nvidia sponsored, same day. Sniper Elite 5, AMD game, no DLSS. Death Stranding, Nvidia. FSR came later, but it has both. Ghostwire Tokyo, Nvidia game, same day. Halo Infinite, AMD sponsored game, oddly enough, neither. Guardians of the Galaxy, Nvidia. FSR came later. Far Cry 6, AMD sponsored game, no DLSS. Battlefield 2042, Nvidia sponsored game. Only one so far that still doesn't have FSR. Resident Evil Village, AMD sponsored game, no DLSS. Are you noticing a pattern here? AMD sponsored games are far, far less likely to have DLSS than the other way around. And you want to know why that's fucked? Because DLSS is Nvidia's technology, and they make up the majority of the market share.
Awkward silence. Fun.
Admittedly, this is 2019. Let me see if I can find a more recent one. Here. 2023. Discrete GPUs. Nvidia retains its dominant position with 87% market share.
Hello?
And yes,
Anybody home?
you can use FSR on Nvidia cards. But DLSS is better. To say nothing of the fact that DLSS frame generation beat FSR 3 to the market by more than a year. What are FSR and DLSS? So FSR and DLSS are the proprietary upscaling technologies of AMD and Nvidia respectively. What they do is they allow the game to render internally at a lower than native resolution, and then it uses AI to upscale the image back to the native resolution.
Hello?
The result is...
home?
Shut up, fucker! The result is increased performance because there's less burden on the GPU, because in terms of traditional rasterization, it's rendering at a lower resolution. That's what the first two generations of FSR and DLSS did. DLSS 3 brought about frame generation, which actually uses AI to generate AI frames in between the traditionally rendered frames. TLDR, they use AI to make games run better. FSR is developed by AMD and it's open source. NVIDIA or DLSS only works on NVIDIA cards. But it's better. The entire history of this FSR versus DLSS thing has been a parallel of the entire history of NVIDIA and AMD's competition. Which is, if you want to know what AMD is going to be doing 6 months from now, look at what NVIDIA was doing a year ago. And imagine that, but worse. It happened with VSync and FreeSync.
Silence.
It happened with NVIDIA Reflex and whatever the hell AMD calls their version. It happened with FSR and DLSS. It happened with frame generation and fluid motion frames. Well, is happening now. So anytime I see an AMD sponsored game, I automatically know it's going to be a little bit fucked. What exactly are you putting on my ship?
Nothing too dangerous, if that's your concern. The repair suite's mostly just wiring and circuit boards. The welcome kit has some goodies in there I wouldn't leave sitting around when company comes to visit. But it's nothing some proper storage can't make safe.
Anything you can tell me about Tau Ceti 2?
I honestly didn't realize it had people living on it until we got your recorder.
Report they gave us seemed clean. No known
So
hostile
NVIDIA is
outposts.
better?
But I wouldn't say that's permission to let your guard down.
In my
Just
opinion,
watch out for
yes.
wildlife and pirates. Keep those med packs handy and you'll be fine.
Starfield is using AMD because they sponsor. It had FSR at launch. Supposedly DLSS is coming in a patch. Supposedly.
Then I won't keep you.
Make us look good out there, recruit.
Now I am using DLSS. But it's a hacky implementation. Isn't it NVIDIA technology? Technically, AMD claims they don't prevent sponsored games from implementing both, but it's much, much less common. Pretty much the only AMD sponsored games that have DLSS are the Sony ones. And Starfield when it eventually comes. I also don't think it's a coincidence that Bethesda, who are now owned by Xbox, decided to prioritize first AMD technology when all of Xbox's modern machines are powered by an AMD manufactured APU. APU. Accelerated Processing Unit. It's a CPU and a GPU in one board. Gas processing unit. Yeah, they're usually not great.
It seems unusually quiet here. That is rarely a good sign.
Alright, shit's getting fucky. Clearly the new DLLs didn't help. I'm gonna try reinstalling the DLSS 3 mod. See if that makes any difference. Where did I put it? There it is. Is that what consoles use? Yes. Let's try these tweaks. Yeah, consoles use APUs, which you'll also hear referred to as SoC, system on a chip. Whereas gaming PCs typically have a dedicated CPU and a dedicated GPU. As two separate pieces of hardware. Isn't that more expensive? Yes. But the end result is more customizability and upgradability.
This does not look to have been motivated by theft. That may make it worse.
For example, when frame generation was announced, I wanted a GPU that could do frame generation, so I just bought a new GPU. I got my 4070 Ti. If I had gone with an APU approach, I would have had to buy an entirely new system, because I wouldn't be able to separate the GPU from the rest of the APU. Whoa. It's interesting. So CPU, GPU has better performance? It depends on the CPU and GPU in question. For example, the PlayStation 5 has an APU, but it's going to do better than a PC with a separate CPU and GPU from 10 years ago. I bet that was a terror morph.
Either I got
I thought. Or you've got some incredible timing. Regardless, I think it knows you're here. I'll unlock the door. Second floor, main building. But be quiet.
Hello. Taking your stuff. What up?
So what do we got here? Too clean to be one of the settlers. Or a pirate. You see on patrol, maybe? It'd make my day if you said you were a shock trooper out for a stroll.
Actually, the Vanguard sent me. Though they failed to mention how bad things were. You okay?
Oh, I've been better. But I think bleeding out is at least off the table. What I really need, though, is someone who knows their way around a weapon. So, if you wanted to tell me, I'm heavy infantry and I've come to bring you the gift of ordnance, I wouldn't mind in the least. Vanguard, huh? Yeah, I expect they didn't. I'm Hadrian. I was a researcher with the UC. I came here on a rumor of a... Well, I expect you saw the results on your way in. What's left of the settlers? The work of Oxysio Machina. A terramorph. One of the nastiest aliens humanity's ever crossed paths with. And this one, well, it's something of an anomaly. Possibly a worrying one.
A terramorph? Here? Why did you not state that immediately?
I know what a terramorph is. What kind of anomaly are we talking here?
Terramorphs have a unique growth cycle. They're usually only found on worlds that have been long colonized by humanity. But Tau said he's too young to have one. Yet here it is. I came looking for an explanation and found all this.
Wait, are all the settlers dead then?
I managed to scope out a fair bit of the facility before it found me. If there are any survivors of the attack, they're long gone.
Sounds like you could use my help then.
I sure could. Because to confirm my suspicions about this creature, I'm gonna need a tissue sample from it. And to get that, I need its corpse. But there is a way we can give ourselves an edge against this thing. The plant's security system. The admin terminal's here in this building, but it needs its connection reset. And as I found out, that's not a one-person job. But if you can make it to the security outpost and restore the connection, I think I can get things back online. See if the settlers left us any other tools.
What can you tell me about this security system?
The settlers outfitted most of the buildings with turrets at some point. Not sure how many are still operable, but at least a few appeared to be in fighting shape. There were also some sensors scattered around the facility that I didn't recognize. But those are honestly all just educated guesses until we get the connection reset.
Where can I find the security outpost?
It's the building in the middle of the facility. The terminal in there should allow you to grant me access to the system as a whole. Then we can see about getting things back online.
You're not coming with me?
Admin access is centralized to the terminal in this room. Nothing's coming back online if I'm not here. But even if that weren't the case, I'd likely be more of a liability out there than a help right now.
Alright, let's get that security system back online.
Good. Once I see the connection reset, I'll get things underway on my end. Take care of yourself out there. And make sure you leave enough of that thing for us to get a sample.
Kill the terramorph, kill the terramorph. All right.
Always worth checking. Never know what you might find in their pockets.
Reset security connection.
Connection restored. I'll make this quick. Plant's turrets took a beating, but I should be able to get you a couple of kill lanes. Just get the thing to chase you down the alleys between the buildings, and you'll lead it right into a crossfire. Hello. Wish I'd found this earlier. Those sensors around the facility? Part of a livestock tracking system. Should let you keep tabs on how close the terramorph is. But it's not connected to this network. There should be a terminal in the adjoining room. Tune it to 183.5. Tracker's reading green. What's that sound?
The security lockdown is active.
Shit. Stop. Stop whatever you're doing and get in cover. It's on the move. Look, I wouldn't engage directly if you can avoid it. The kill lanes. They're set up but need power. There's breakers on each of the buildings you can throw to get them live. Once they're online, lead the terramorph towards the lights and watch the fireworks. Give it hell, Vanguard.
Good luck, Andreja. Oh, it's dead.
I
I killed it. Okay, I was getting flashes of black, now I'm getting flashes of white. Gotta walk your dog. Alright, Mateo, have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Andreja, please. You're still here? Hi, still here, I'm dead. Hey, shit's dead.
Tracker's gone quiet. I suspect it's either hiding or... Wait.
You did it, didn't you? Heavens above! You just flatlined a terrormorph!
I believe the words you're looking for are, "Thank you for saving my ass."
I'm not too proud. Thank you for saving my ass. You didn't happen to grab me a tissue sample, did you?
Here you go.
All right. I spotted a microscope downstairs. Let's see if we can't get to the bottom of this.
Alright, this frame gen hack is clearly broken. Looks like it's the new NVIDIA driver causing it. Because I just checked the Pure Dark Discord and they're having the same issue. You know it'd be great? You know it'd be great? Bethesda, implement this shit natively. Put frame generation in your goddamn game so I don't have to deal with this hacky workaround bullshit. You fucking amateurs. Fuck.
Older model. Let's see what you can do. Running basic diagnostics. Nothing. Maybe a flag scan? No. Spectrograph. Damn. This equipment, it's not set up to do a proper analysis of our sample. But this terramorph being here, of all places, it doesn't make sense. Humanity's spread plenty of creatures in our travels across the stars. Pets, livestock, pests. But terramorphs, they're different. To our knowledge, no one's ever spread them intentionally. Yet somehow, they follow us. So when humans settle a world, 70 to 100 years later, terramorphs tend to just appear. No one knows how or why. Dangerous, but at least predictable. Tau Ceti, though, it's too young to have a native population. It's only been colonized 20 years? But then the other option, that someone captured one of the deadliest predators in the galaxy just to wipe out some settlers minding their own business? That seems awfully implausible. Which means we're either looking at a truly strange murder or a faster type of terramorph growth, the results of which could be catastrophic. Terramorph outbreaks have taken down far bigger colonies than this one.
Terramorphs have taken down other colonies?
They have. They even took down an entire city once. A place called Londinian had to be quarantined due to a massive outbreak during the Colony War. It's the only known loss of that scale, but it's the reason why any change in our relationship with these creatures needs to be taken very seriously.
How does no one know how Terramorphs get onto human worlds? Aren't they kind of hard to miss?
Well, they're not exactly buying tickets and flying coach. The theory is that they're spread by some kind of egg or seed that's able to evade our detection. But how the hell an undetectable egg turns into a terramorph without anyone noticing is a question no one's ever found an answer to. And it's why what's happened here could be real bad news for the rest of human civilization.
That feels like a big leap to make from a single sample.
You're right. We don't have enough information. Time was, I had access to one of the best repositories of terramorph research in the galaxy. Seems a natural place to start looking, if I can figure how to access it. But we also need to get this sample properly analyzed, get confirmation on just how concerned we should be. Luckily, I think I know just the person to help with the sample. What would you say to delivering this to him for me? Yeah, I'd do it myself, but I need to call in some favors. See if I can't get access to that terramorph data.
It's at that stronghold thing.
Plus, maybe just pop by a hospital for a little bit. Clear it with your commander first if you have to. You can even show them this. My gene tag. Tell them Hadrian Sanan is worried there could be more attacks on the horizon. They should recognize the name.
Why would my commander know who you are? Are you with the UC military too?
I was. Long time ago. Family tradition. But I know some of the folks from my old unit moved into the Vanguard. A couple even owe me favors. If I'm lucky, your commander is one of them.
I'll mention it, but I'm not making any promises.
That's all I'm asking. I need Dr. Percival Walker to put together a sample analysis for this thing. Full workup. He'll know what that means. I'm not sure exactly where to find him, but last I heard he was contracting with the Trade Authority on Mars. There's a place called the Sixth Circle in Sidonia. Bar run by some old friends. I'll meet you and Percival there. And here. It's not exactly a bounty, but you certainly deserve them. Should cover the cost to fuel to Mars, at least. Now please, go check in with your commander. We need to know what we're dealing with.
Someone recommended disabling reflex. But if I disable reflex, there goes frame gen. And if I disable DLSS, there goes frame gen. Whatever. Gelato done. I'm going to a Halloween party tomorrow, bringing caramel gelato for caramel apple sundaes and homemade mead. Have fun. I'm dying. I'm better.
Whew. Always a satisfying moment to return to your ship.
Sorry, Chef, if you can't tell, I'm a little bit frustrated.
Look who's back. All set with that probationary mission? We can do your debrief and formally welcome you into the Vanguard whenever you're ready.
I'm sorry I called Bethesda fucking amateurs. Even though it was totally deserved. I need your permission to deliver a terramorph tissue sample to Mars.
A terror? What? How did you walk away with a terramorph tissue sample running comms repairs? What happened to the settlers?
Terramorph happened to the settlers.
A gene tag? Let me see that. Sanan. I know that name. Let me check the database. Huh. A lot of this data's been classified. Here we go. Service record. Wow. That's a lot of commendations. Seems like she served with distinction as co-head of a UC Xenoweapons division. Faced tribunal at the end of the Colony War. And was dismissed from duty. Guess that's why I'd heard the name before. If she's former Xeno warfare, though, well, we can at least be sure she knows her aliens.
Xeno warfare doesn't sound good. Can we even be helping this woman?
Notation says that Sanan already faced punishment for her actions during the war. Dismissal from the UC military. And her sending you to me first makes me think she's actually trying to do this above board. Considering her history, reaching out to the UC probably wasn't the easiest decision. Which means that must be a pretty important sample.
They're not amateurs. Amateurs are new to a craft and haven't gotten it down yet. Bethesda has been doing this a long time. They're burnouts. They know better. They just don't care. I mean, Maybe that's true for some higher-ups, but I don't think every single developer at Bethesda are the same people as the ones who worked on Oblivion or Fallout 3 or Skyrim or even Fallout 4 or New Vegas. Or not New Vegas, 76. They can't all be burnouts. Somebody has to be too new to be a burnout. Although maybe after working on this game they might be.
I'm sure she doesn't list it at the top of her resume. But considering her service record and her area of expertise, I'm not seeing a reason to think this request is anything other than genuine. Did your survivor, Hadrian, did she mention why she thinks this sample is so special?
The company itself has found success and is just cashing checks. I mean, Xbox did just restructure a bunch of shit. And apparently they're more closely under Microsoft's control now. Maybe it'll help? God, I hope so. She's afraid there could be more attacks like the one that wiped out the people of Tau Ceti. Look, all I'm saying is, and this might be a hot take, if you release a PC title and it's not shipping with frame generation,
I really need to know what happened out there.
You're doing it wrong.
She thinks there could be more of these? Well, this is one of the more surprising debriefs I've ever been a part of. But if Hadrian Sinon thinks this sample needs to get to Mars, then we're gonna make sure it gets to Mars. I'll take care of the clearances and ensure you get your credits. Consider these your first official orders. And here, so everyone knows you're working with the Vanguard. Welcome to the Navy, Captain. Vanguard's also got some custom ship modifications. You'll be clear
Not for my
access to them
Starborn
next time
Guardian,
you're
they
down
don't.
to the spaceport. Talk to ship services. Now, if there wasn't anything else, I suggest you move out.
Don't think the solution to their problems is more corporate oversight? No. I'm not saying the solution to their problems is more corporate oversight. I'm saying the solution to their problems is different corporate oversight.
Oh! Need a moment to walk that off?
Because you have to remember the corporate structure that was in place when they were acquired is the corporate structure that said, give us online Fallout with microtransactions. And give us a mobile Elder Scrolls game. You know, the corporate oversight that said everything except give us the Elder Scrolls 6.
I am not a stalker.
Hope you're finding everything you need. Oh, please, take a look.
You have no med packs!
Thanks for coming in.
If anything, they were better off when they were a smaller team with the freedom to make more creative decisions. This might be a hot take. I know I say that a lot. The Bethesda that made Daggerfall wouldn't be able to make an equivalent game today.
Keep it moving.
The industry as a whole has evolved to necessitate larger and more skilled teams, yes. Exactly. And what you get now is the small teams are the ones that are making games that 20 years ago
If you don't see what you want, if it belongs on your ship, then oh, please take a look.
would have been considered ambitious.
Appreciate the business.
A solo developer could make something like Morrowind today. It would take them a whole lot of work, but it could be done. No solo developer could make this game. We still see that spirit in some smaller indie titles. Maybe it's something about the size of the team that makes it hard. Like the average of all baseball players, right? Have you ever seen that picture? I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Here's the thing. I don't buy that spirit argument. Because independent developers with small teams aren't making open world games like this. They're making Celeste. They're making Stardew Valley.
I'm afraid, due to recent legislative action, I'm no longer able to allocate ships. I can, however, deal in general goods.
Not that there's anything wrong with those games, but
Welcome to UC Distribution.
when you're a small team without a lot of resources,
You're always welcome back, if you don't mind a bit of a wait.
that limits how ambitious you can be with your game. Combined faces of top 1800 MLB players. There he is, Joe Baseball. I think that is no, I don't buy it. What's up, Burmy? Yeah, I don't buy the small, passionate indie developer line, because the small, passionate indie developers are making almost exclusively pixel art games.
Fancy armor you got there.
Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But games that push the technology forward, games that actually are on the cutting edge of what gaming as a medium can accomplish, at least in terms of technology, those are almost always the purview of large teams with resources behind them. Easier for them to have a cohesive creative vision. It's like saying Avatar is a good film because it pushed the technical limitations of filmmaking as a craft. I mean, I haven't seen Avatar in a long time. Maybe it's great, maybe it's not. I remember it being received positively. But Avatar is maybe not the best example because that's basically James Cameron's baby. I guess it depends on how much you subscribe to auteur theory. And I'm not complaining about the creative vision of Starfield at all. As a game, I love it. As a piece of software, fuck this. It needs DLSS. Sure, it's a great spectacle, but technical achievement is only one aspect of what makes a game good. I'm not complaining about anything to do with this game except as a piece of software. I like the characters, I like the world, I like the universe, I like the lore, I like all of it. I don't like that it doesn't have native DLSS implementation.
Well, look what the Martian winds blew in.
Hey, you looking for anything in particular?
You are. I know you don't like the New Game Plus.
Invoices can be collected from the... Oh. Not here for a delivery, are you?
Let me pose this question to you, Chef. What is the difference between a universe you leave behind in Starfield and a save file in Skyrim that you just stop playing?
If you didn't have anything else...
Would you rather have universes where you just disappeared one day, or entire universes where Skyrim got burned to a crisp by dragons because the Dragonborn just stopped dead in their tracks one day and never moved again? In Starfield, your character has canonically abandoned all their friends and family to go fuck off into space, and that makes you sad? Alright, well, in Morrowind, your Nerevarine canonically abandoned all their friends and family to fuck off
busy, you understand.
to Akavir. In Oblivion, your champion of Cyrodiil has canonically abandoned all their friends and family to go fuck off and be Sheogorath. And the way things are looking, when Elder Scrolls 6 rolls around, your Dragonborn will have canonically abandoned all their friends and family to go fuck off to Apocrypha. What's the difference? Captain Lilywes Vanguard, I need Percival Walker's help investigating a troubling discovery.
Do you now? Well, I do wish I could help you, Captain, but Dr. Walker has been missing for some time.
A shame, too. We had such high hopes for Percival. I brought him on myself to do medical and biological consulting around the city. Not the sort of work the Trade Authority traditionally does. But we thought it had the potential to become a whole new type of revenue stream for our branch. I invested no small amount of personal capital into the endeavor. But then he decided to run off after a discipline issue. I presume the miners have him hidden somewhere. Plenty of cracks on this old rock. But at this point, it's probably for the best.
You assume the mantling of Sheogorath took long enough the hero of Kvatch lived to see his loved ones pass? Okay, so instead of a bunch of people losing one person, you have one person who lost everybody and became somebody else. And that's better? Makes you not the bad guy?
If there's nothing else pressing...
So, if you're presented with the opportunity to step beyond space and time in order to unravel the very mysteries of existence, and you take that opportunity, that makes you a bad person?
I'm quite busy, you understand.
What sort of discipline issue are we talking here?
Dr. Walker decided to start brewing and selling his own pharmaceuticals to our customers below cost. Something his contract expressly forbade. As such, we requested our cut of the profits and began garnishing his salary. Perhaps a little too severely, but well within legal limits. It was around then that he ran off, abandoning his duty and his unpaid accounts.
What's the point of solving the mysteries of the universe if you can't contribute to the collective of human knowledge by reporting back what you found? Fuck the collective of human knowledge. You have your own knowledge. And you can share that with every subsequent universe you end up in. If you so choose. That's the thing. You're essentially ascending to space godhood.
If you didn't have anything else...
You're essentially like space Talos. You think Talos actually cares about the Nords? No, he's got bigger concerns on his mind. If Talos actually cared about the Nords, you wouldn't be able to kill Ulfric Stormcloak. Why would the miners hide him?
They were all devils. Red devils. A UC Marine unit based here on Mars, though they were disbanded shortly after the Colony War. I presume a number of them served alongside Dr. Walker. Bonds forged in battle and all that.
You don't sound particularly interested in finding him.
That's correct. We're no longer interested in Dr. Walker's services. He did leave his post, however, with a sizable debt to his name. If you were to find him and get him to pay, the Trade Authority would be most grateful for it.
Just this one time? I am all too aware that
Fuck's
once one
sake.
starts doing favors for the Trade Authority, it can be difficult to stop.
You don't like the follow the marker and the bajillion of loading screens during a quest progression? I don't mind it. You know why? Because I'm a grown man with shit to do who doesn't like having his time wasted. Do you know what space travel is actually like? It's boring. It's boring as fuck. It's boring as fuck the same way flying in a plane is...
There's nothing else pressing.
The same way flying in a plane is boring as fuck. The fun isn't in the travel. It's in the destination. Get me to the destination. Get me to the interesting content. Get me to the quests and the stories and the interesting shit. I'm happy to skip the holding forward for however long and fucking wandering around some planet aimlessly to get to the interesting shit. What the fuck do you mean this game doesn't have much of it? It has more than Fallout 4 had.
I'm quite busy, you understand.
How much does he owe?
Feeling charitable? I don't recall the exact figure off the top of my head, but with the interest it's accrued, I believe it's something substantial. So if you were able to find him and convince him to clear his accounts, you would have our honest gratitude.
I just see this is what pisses me off so much. People say that this game doesn't have any interesting content, and yet they'll turn around and they'll suck Breath of the Wild's dick. I'm not your bill collector. I just need to know how to find him.
Yes, not everything needs to be a transaction.
Pity.
Perhaps a little advance on my part might pique your interest. Visit the Sixth Circle, a bar on the lowest level of the city. If someone in Sidonia knows where Percival is, you'll find them there.
Do you have a child or children between the ages of 5 to 18?
Red and orange, everything's red.
Despite being the best RPG Bethesda has made since Skyrim, this game doesn't have any interesting content, but Elden Ring, with its 20,000 tree sentinels and 30,000 reskinned stray demons, is a fucking masterpiece of open world game design.
Broken Spear's upstairs. Go drown yourself there. This bar's for devil's vets and their kin.
In Skyrim, you liked the fact you could wander around discovering the non-procedural built world with all its elements and characters. A world that reacts to what you do and doesn't put you on some tracks telling you to get to... How does Skyrim react to what you do? What actual meaningful change can you make to the world of Skyrim? Probably the biggest lasting change in the Civil War in Skyrim is the Civil War. And what does that do?
Wait,
bother messing with me.
Stop wasting my time and hike.
You almost had me there. Nice job.
Why are we saying yo? The biggest change, lasting change you can make to the world of Skyrim is the Civil War, and all that does is replace the hold guards.
What? Nothing to say?
In half of the holds. That's it. You also miss a lot of interesting characters in Starfield because you're surrounded by 1,000 generic citizens. Yeah, but that's the thing. In a real city, you're surrounded by 1,000 generic citizens. Look at Night City in Cyberpunk, or Novigrad in Witcher 3. Those are much more realistic cities than Whiterun, and it's full of generic-ass motherfucker.
Pathetic.
The fact of the matter is, in a real city, most of the people you're going to see are generic-ass citizens. Real city, your ass? That's like 8 city blocks. Which city are we referring to? Easy now, I'm Vanguard. Heard you might know where Percival Walker is.
Doc Walker? Well, you're barking up the wrong...
You, why don't you come here and tell me what some Vanguard captain wants with Walker? Stray topsider wanders into my bar asking after a man like Percival Walker. Raises questions. What do you want with him?
Right, but the downside of that is it's hard to find interesting things to do because the scale does a disservice to the mechanics. The same reason having 1,000 uninteresting planets isn't Motherfucker, I answered a random distress call, and I found myself in the middle of a 3-way conflict between factions led by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Amon Uranus, and Genghis fucking Khan. Okay, this game has that. I don't give a fuck how many loading screens it has. Terramorphs might be threatening the galaxy. I need Percival's help to stop them.
What? Someone give him the keys to a battle cruiser? Look, you can make up whatever crazy story you want, but you should forget about Percival.
Really wish more of them were nearly as engaging. I want to try a thought experiment. Chef, have you watched Game of Thrones? Actually, anybody in chat, have you watched Game of Thrones? And if so, what were you more interested in? What was going on at the wall with the White Walkers? Or the War of Five Kings?
That it then? We done?
You liked that people fucked a lot. Okay. The point I'm trying to make is, I feel like which one of those you prefer says a lot about you as a person. Because you have Jon Snow off in the wilderness, exploring and uncovering bullshit and blah 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 and dealing with all his problems up there. Meanwhile, with the War of Five Kings, you had all the politics and the intrigue and the conflict. And I'm someone who found the War of Five Kings much more interesting than all the bullshit that was going on with the Wildlings and the White Walkers. I feel like people who prefer to explore in games would prefer the Night's Watch. Don't care about a dude exploring shit, you want to be the one exploring? Well, I mean, it's a TV show, it's not a video game. So, I'm trying to make an analogy here. That was your bread and butter with Bethesda games? What, exploring?
Hello?
Not me. My bread and butter with Bethesda games was characters and quests and dungeons. Exactly what it was with Zelda until they threw all that in the trash. I don't care that I can't fucking walk everywhere. It's boring. I don't care that I sit through a loading screen that takes 5 seconds, rather than spend real life hours flying from planet to planet. Kind of like me watching them turn Zelda into something I didn't like. Starfield emphasized something you didn't prioritize in Bethesda RPGs. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you what you're talking about. Because I'd like to hear your perspective. What aspects of Bethesda RPGs does Starfield emphasize that you don't prioritize? Please, lives could be at risk here. Just tell me where I can find him.
Stop. Even if I did know where he was, I'm not telling some stray I don't know from a... Huh. Maybe there is something you can do. Percival's got this debt put on him by the Trade Authority. You make that go away, prove you're a friend of him and the rest of us devils, and... well, I'm always inclined to help a friend.
You and Percival were both Red Devils. Can you tell me about them?
Red Devils were the meanest Marine unit the UC Navy ever had. Couldn't get in if you hadn't done at least one stint as a Martian Dusty. Made us tough, reliable. It's why they chose us as the handlers for the UC Xeno-weapons. No other unit could handle that pressure. Percival, though, he wasn't a grunt like all of us. Science officer. Made sure the monsters behaved themselves around the devils, and didn't with everyone else. But it was those monsters that did us in. When the colony war ended and the armistice came down, everything associated with Xeno-weapons got shelved, Red Devils included. Now they're just a memory.
It no longer feels like an open world. That's because it's not. It's 1,000 open worlds. It feels like teleporting from quest marker to quest marker, doing a 3-minute conversation with a save scummable dialogue option with procedurally generated vapid dialogue, or killing a few dudes, rinse and repeat. Alright. Fast travel has been in Bethesda games since Oblivion, so that's nothing new. Save scumming has been in Bethesda games since Elder Scrolls 1. As far as the procedurally generated vapid dialogue goes,
That it then?
I'm gonna say a couple of things. Tell me if it jars your memory. The Dark Brotherhood Forever. Urag asking you to find a book. Thieves Guild jobs. Another settlement needs your help. It's all Radiant content, which Bethesda have been singing about since Skyrim. As far as the persuasion not being cool anymore, it's much better than it was in Skyrim. Skyrim, the persuasion system was almost non-existent. If you had a high enough skill or the right perks, you just passed or failed. I compared the quest design to Legate Lanius, where I talked my way. Shut the fuck up, eye patch man. Where I talked my way out of the final boss fight. You're the one who brought up Legate Lanius. I didn't say the persuasion mechanic was exactly the same, because if I recall correctly, in Fallout New Vegas, it was just a percentage chance. Rather than, which is still better than Skyrim's pass-fail. You almost never fast travel in Skyrim, you always have to in Starfield. There are places in Skyrim that you can't reach without fast travel. Would Skyrim be a better game if you could swim to Solstheim?
Hello?
Would Starfield really be a better game if you could just aim your ship in a direction, put the engine all the way up, and then just wait? See, no, that's the puzzle. It's almost like they've framed a problem with no good answer. Well, again, what do you want them to do? That's the nature of space travel. You get in a ship and you go forward for a while until you get to where you're going. There is no interesting content between areas because there's nothing in space and there's nothing on their planets. Exactly. That's the point. And if there was interesting content everywhere, that wouldn't be realistic.
That it then?
Starfield would be better if there was actually something in space. How do you do that? You make the universe smaller. I don't think making it smaller would inherently make it a better game. Because you would still have to fly between planets. You would still have the boring part.
Hello?
You worked with Xeno weapons?
Me? Nah. Infantry officer. But my grunts deployed alongside the things. Never seen anything like it, before or since. Monsters from the darkest corners of the Black, rampaging across the battlefield. And understand why they banned them. Brutal. Armistice hurt us more than most, but... wow. Wasn't all bad that came out of that agreement.
Not only make it smaller, you make the travel interesting. You can do that because you have less void to fill. Space is definitionally a void. Like in Skyrim, you could meet a dragon in some random woods. Yeah, and watch any video about Skyrim. And there's a 50-50 shot whoever made the video is going to complain about all the random dragon spam. You're a Star Trek fan, and clearly there were a few in the Starfield dev team. You know how often the crew ran into weird shit in space on the way from point A to point B? I'm glad you brought that up. Let's look at it mathematically. So the way the star dates work in relation to the Gregorian calendar, at least in the next-gen era, is the second digit of the 5-digit star date denoted the year. And the time from the beginning of the year to the end of the year was represented in the final 3 digits and a decimal point. Each season corresponded to 1 year within the Star Trek universe. On average, there were about 24 episodes per season during the next-gen Deep Space Nine Voyager era, give or take 24 episodes. So that means they ran into weird shit like once every 2 weeks. How would you suggest I go about clearing Percival's name?
Well, most straightforward way to take care of this debt would be to just saunter up to the authority and pay him direct, if you've got credits to throw away. Of course, rumor is the Trade Authority keeps all their records and collections files on a central server inside their storeroom. If someone was to break in there and adjust Percival's debt to something a little more reasonable, say a few hundred credits, I'd be happy to cover the costs.
Crossing the Trade Authority could be perilous. There are real stakes here.
I'm just gonna pay them. I can afford it. You think, for example, Worf's trial took a single day? You mean when he was put on trial in Deep Space Nine for destroying that ship? Well, let's find out. You're referring to the episode Rules of Engagement. If we go to Memory Alpha, the Star Trek Wiki.
That it then? We done?
Let's see. There's only one log entry in that episode. Not a lot of log entries that season.
Hello?
Would assume it'd be fair to say each event took at least 2 to 3 days on average. That's not to say there weren't interesting things that happened off screen. We have no way to know. But we do! Because Star Trek fans, being the nerds that they are, created a stardate calculator. Let's see, let's look up Best of Both Worlds. Let me see. Alright, we've got a starting stardate. He spoke so highly of the FDR quest. What you meant to say is it's more than reasonable for space to be interesting by implementing more random encounters that become quest hooks while traveling. But that's the thing. The quest didn't happen in space. It happened on a planet. So regardless of how interesting the quest is, I had to go to the planet first. You got the distress call in space? Yeah, only because I randomly jumped to a system because I couldn't jump to my actual destination because my skill wasn't high enough. That wasn't something interesting to do in space.
And I look forward to hearing the good news.
Maybe a bounty hunter?
Does the fact that the quest trigger happened in space really make it that much more interesting than overhearing a random conversation in New Atlantis and getting a quest that way? Because they both involve the same thing. You get the quest, and then you travel somewhere else and do the quest, which in Starfield means sitting through loading screens. The fuck do you want?
Heard you talking with Lou, so you're going to help Dr. Walker?
I'm gonna try to.
Oh, good, good. Percival's a good guy. Listen, I know how you can do it without having to resort to any B&E. Aqueous hematite. Mars is full of it. People think it's just garbage, but Percival and I, we've been working on some projects in the deep mines. At least when he wasn't slaving away at his trade authority contract. But we stumbled on a way to make it useful and profitable. You give our research over to Octai at the trade authority, it should more than cover Percival's debt. That guy's always looking for an angle.
Yes, because it shows things can interact with your ship during travel that could, if implemented more often, spice up space travel. I got the distress call in orbit of a planet. I didn't get it in interstellar space. Interstellar space is the part that loading screens skip. Because there is no interstellar space? I mean, there is, though. It's just realistically large.
You okay?
But if there was, what makes it any different? I don't know. How about the fact that there's fucking nothing there? Like, space is fucking huge. Like, it's impossible to understate how big space is. It's literally the biggest thing we know of. If it was jam-packed full of shit to do, that would be completely unrealistic. That wouldn't be an immersive space game.
Hey, having a conversation here? Or, you know, we were.
That would make it a cartoonish caricature of space. And what Bethesda didn't want to do was make a cartoonish caricature of space like so many other space games have done. And as somebody who studied astrophysics and is a fucking fanboy of actual real-world space travel, I appreciate that. I'm sorry, who are you?
Oh, I'm Cambridge. I was Percival's assistant. Well, apprentice, really. Couldn't work in the mines anymore, so he gave me a job helping with some of his side projects. Knows experiments inside and out, and I know this one was gonna be big.
I presume there's a reason you haven't handed it over already.
Well, yeah. We were never able to finish the research. Spacers moved in and ran us out. started setting up shop.
Oh, I know what comes next.
But if you can clear them out, I can walk you through how to finish the research. Then you can give it over to the Trade Authority. They'll get folks working in the deep mines again. Jobs come back, I become a modern-day folk hero. Then I don't have to sleep on an inflated spacesuit anymore.
The realism has its charm, but you also think it sometimes holds us back. If you want a cartoonish caricature of space travel, you can get that from basically any space game. I just want one. Just one game that gives me what I want. The reason why people say things like
What's wrong?
Starfield is outdated is because it's Bethesda making a Bethesda game, and Bethesda hasn't made a Bethesda game in 8 years. Since then, there have been certain trends in open world games, starting with, I would argue, Breath of the Wild, that have resulted in vastly different open world games being made. And they're all copying each other. I, for one, am very appreciative when something comes along and says, nah, all this generic new shit sucks. We're going to make a game the way we want to. Do I know what was the first game you ever played from start to finish? No, I don't.
Hey, having a conversation here? Or, we were?
Why would I? What's the first game you ever played from start to finish? Awful lot of work to avoid buying a pillow, but sure, I'll help.
Great. So access to the deep mines can be found outside the city. It's not far. Shouldn't even need to hop back in your ship. We'd set up right near the main drill. Taking out the spacer leader should get the message across to the rest of them to buzz off. Once you've managed that, phone up here on the comms panel, and I can walk you through finishing the research.
Do I want to know? Tell me.
Ever been to Aquila? Those security guards.
I hope I'm not bothering you.
Endless Ocean 2 Adventures of the Deep on the Wii. Never heard of it. Probably the game you have dearest in your heart and you played it once. I'm pretty sure the first game I ever finished was Super Mario World on the SNES. It was fun, but subsequent games have outdone it many times over. I mean, look at this. This is the part of Bethesda games you guys like? This is the part of Bethesda games where I press the auto move key and do other shit. Basically, you're a scuba student and you go around in fictional and non-fictional diving sites and fill a fish catalog. That's interesting. And the plot is that you discover some secret submerged civilizations. Cool. Where are you?
Bring it. We have it coming. Take more. Get him. Take your best shot.
Quite cold here. Someone cannot wear spacesuits like sweaters.
Fight big sharks by shooting them with a non-harming tranquilizer gun that makes the shark change their mind on attacking you. Interesting. You can befriend some animals too to help you in the exploration. And you have to manage a huge Japanese aquarium as a side quest. The biggest tank allows you to expose a blue whale too.
This is gonna.
I'm sorry, this is gonna what? I didn't catch that.
Miners' quarters ahead, perhaps? Filled with more spacers, no doubt.
You listen to visitor feedback and plan the next week's expositions? You mean exhibits?
They got another. You're not walking out of here. It's payday.
You can teach tricks to the animals you befriend too. Is this real? I'm Googling this. Huh. What do you know? It is. Side quests require you to set up a private exhibition. Such an underrated game. Well, based on what you've said, doesn't really sound like my thing, but I'll take your word for it. Shoot him in the ass! Shoot him in his dick!
of the spacers, huh? Good. Now to finish off the research, you're gonna need to collect a sample of hematite to run through the thresher. Grab a laser cutter and head back to the chamber where you came in. Once you've got a sample, Thresher's the big machine in the next room. Passcode to start it is Ares 2330. Take care of all that, and we'll have Percival's name cleared in no time. All set? Good. You can take the elevator in that room back to the surface. There should be a key stashed in the Thresher room, if the spacers didn't make off with it. I'll be waiting at the circle.
Yoink.
Not all of the resources have been stripped out of these caves, it seems.
I don't care, Andreja. Fuck resources, fuck crafting, fuck settlement building. Fuck anything that isn't quests or dungeons. There's also this alive, huge marine dinosaur that you can see if you explore thoroughly, or maybe you see regardless. If you progress enough. Can't remember honestly, you can customize your scuba suit too. Oh, we're back to the part of Bethesda games everyone loves. Not even touching the keyboard at this point. Thank God for auto move. Alright, while my character walks in a straight line, I'm gonna go get a drink. Whoops, I got stuck. Guess I better jump. Alright, BRB. All right. Oh, hey. Cool. We're done with traveling and we've gotten to the place where the actual content is. Sick.
Found a clutch of heat leeches, breeding.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's such a generic name.
Sidonia can have a depressing effect on some people. Make sure to get yourself help before it becomes a problem.
You've got the slate. Let me see. Reduced joint wear? Oh, increased lifting capacity. A dose of this stuff could make a miner way more efficient. This formula's gotta be worth at least as much as whatever Percival owes. Okay, so here's what you do. Tell Octai and the Trade Authority you found a business proposal that will make miners more efficient, higher yield, synergy, you know, all that business crap. And that you'll trade it to him for clearing Percival's debt. You good at doing pitches and stuff like that?
This reply is accurate to me. Why, I could sell ice to a cold guy. Okay, it's not my forte.
Well, just try your best. Emphasize how much money there is to be made with that formula. Oh, and here, a copy of the formula for yourself, in case you ever want to try maximizing your own industrial output. Oh, use that if you can. Good luck.
Thanks. I will not be doing that.
Was there something else?
I have a business proposal for you, a lucrative one.
I'm never one to turn away an opportunity. But I'd be curious what you think you've uncovered in the Martian market that others have missed.
A chem made from aqueous hematite. I call it pick-me-up.
Aqueous hematite, iron and wastewater. Well, I'm not surprised no one has proposed something like this before. And exactly what does this new drug of yours do?
Makes your miners more efficient. I've got the data here to prove it.
An interesting proposal, if your data pans out. But where's this hematite coming from? The active mines would be too expensive to retool. The deep mines could be an option, but they're full of spacers, or so I've heard.
What if I told you I cleared those mines for the price of nothing? Oh, those spacers are very, very dead. You're welcome.
Is that so? Well now, that is intriguing. A completely untapped resource pool, and the sort of utility every mining firm in Sidonia would be clamoring to get their hands on. We could contract out all the actual lab work, bring on one of the hungrier mining concerns for materials, the licensing fees alone. And think what it would do for our image with the general populace. This mine, reopened thanks to the Martian Trade Authority. Very interesting indeed. And what do you want for the rights to this drug?
I want you to clear Percival's debt.
Dr. Walker's dead? That's it? Consider it wiped.
Well, it seems we have a deal then. And here, a finder's fee from the authority. A perfectly reasonable amount for a discovery with this sort of potential. Wouldn't want you feeling shortchanged down the road. We'll just be taking that slate before you have any second thoughts. It was a pleasure doing business with you, Captain.
I want to look like a completely different person.
Go for it.
Yeah?
Took care of Percival's debt.
Did you now? Fine work. My end of the bargain then, I suppose. He's holed up in the old Red Devil's HQ. Place was sealed up tight after the UC shuttered our unit, but we snuck him in the back entrance through the deep mines. Was also going to warn you about spacers down there. But it sounds like you might have already tossed those drakes. Yeah, the passkey. And I'll let him know there's someone he owes one hell of a thank you on their way down.
Okay. fuck is going on?
Remain alert. Best to assume we have not seen the last of these spacers.
Out of the red with the Trade Authority. Can't say I don't appreciate it, but I doubt you came all this way just to do me a favor. Now you want to explain to me why you're going around harassing nefarious old men by wiping away their hard-earned debts?
I'm here to make a delivery for an old colleague of yours, Hadrian Sandin.
Hadrian sent you. Did she look okay?
If you consider getting gored by a terramorph and living is okay, then yeah.
A terramorph? She's fortunate to be alive at all. Hope you two had plenty of backup. So what's this she had you bring all the way down here after putting you in harm's way?
An anomalous terramorph sample specimen was found on Tau Ceti 2.
Tau Ceti? That's a joke, right? There's no settlement old enough on Tau Ceti to have a terramorph. Either someone's setting up the worst petting zoo in the universe, or if she made you come all the way for this. Let's get inside. I need to see these cells. Gonna ask you to not touch anything. Got some projects in the works down here. I wasn't expecting guests. Oh, and Lou mentioned how you took care of the debt. Can't say I'm thrilled the Trade Authority got their mitts on the research, but I guess that's the price you pay not to live in a cave the rest of your days. All queued up. Let's gaze into this abyss, shall we? All right, just get those cellular markers tagged. Wait, where are the markers? This can't be right. This sample, it's Londinian. I'll need to get this all in a slate. Adrian really gave you this sample. You're not lying to me? Because if you told me this was a hoax, and it'd be the best damn fake I've ever seen, I'd be mad and very, very relieved.
The sample's not fake. I collected it from the Terramorph myself.
Can't just humor an old man, huh? This sample, it's got all the indicators of the worst Terramorph attack in human history. I presume you've heard of Londinian.
Everyone knows about the Londinian Terramorph attacks. There were vigils for weeks afterwards.
And for good reason. The swarms are so bad, they had to blow the spaceport and seal the place off from the galaxy at large. Not a lot of samples made it off the world from the time of the attack, but the ones that did, well, they look just like this one. I didn't detect any of the telltale signatures this specimen ever sat on a ship while it was alive either. I don't think it was transported to Tau Ceti. This specimen, it grew there, faster than any Terramorph should. Which means, if we're about to start a new era in human-Terramorph relations, where big, sudden Londinian-style attacks can happen outside Londinian, that's not gonna end well for humanity.
The chances for survival, let alone maintaining any kind of functioning society, would be slim indeed.
So, you lugged this bad omen all the way here. You want to tell me what your plans are for it now?
Orders are to take you and that analysis to Hadrian. She should be waiting at the 6th circle.
The circle, huh? Could use a drink about now. Here, faster we take the lift to the surface. Not supposed to use it, but given the circumstances, I'm inclined to just ask forgiveness. Let's get going.
The biggest surprise is not...
Oops. Sorry, Andreja. Okay, yeah, this driver is really not playing nice with the frame generation mod.
The community center on P1 is a good place to connect with them.
Is that really her? Hadrian.
Percival. My God, look at you. You're an old man now.
You're no hatchling yourself anymore, Major. Our friend here showed me your sample. Suffice it to say,
Not here. Let's talk somewhere more private. Lou said we could use the back.
The red eyes are some badge of honor, I take it? They would be difficult to conceal.
Lou gave me the abridged version of what went down. Yeah, I can't thank you enough for taking care of all that.
makes two of us.
I hope it ultimately didn't end up being too much trouble.
A little more gunfire than I usually like on my delivery jobs, but nothing I couldn't manage.
That's certainly not what I was expecting you'd have to go through. But thank you. I'm just glad you both came through intact. So, were you two able to get that workup together?
Got it right here. That sample? It's an exact match for the ones from Londinian.
Londinian. That's exactly what I was afraid of.
Not thrilled to be the bearer of that kind of news. That's for damn sure. So tell me you've got some kind of plan for that workup.
Well, right now, we've got more questions than answers. So I've been trying to figure out what it's gonna take to access our old Terramorph data.
Good place to start. What'd you find?
It's in the archives.
The Armistice Archives? Doesn't that mean we'd be dealing with the Cabinet? And the Freestar Collective? And House Varun somehow? Guess we can kiss that approach goodbye.
I didn't think the cabinet would be willing to hear us out either. But I called in some favors. They've agreed to hear us out on two conditions. One, they want to see this analysis you two have procured. And two, they want to discuss what happened on Tau Ceti. With both of us.
Only ever read about the cabinet in civics class. Never expected I'd get to talk to them.
It can be a daunting experience. Which is why I wanted to make sure, before you agreed to anything, we gave you the whole truth. Percival and I, we're not just researchers. We were military scientists, ran a division of the UC together that deployed aliens on the battlefield as weapons.
Place I was hiding out. That was our unit's home base.
Yeah, I gathered that.
After some early fits and starts at other facilities, the place eventually became the heart of UC xeno-warfare. A practice that's been banned ever since the armistice went into effect almost 20 years ago. And the UC military cut us loose for what we'd done.
Then what does that make you two now? Is the UC going to throw me into prison for helping you?
No. We were both dismissed after the war for what we did. These days, we're just concerned citizens with a very particular area of expertise. Our damage has been done for a long time.
Oh, I was wondering if you were ever going to share that nugget with me.
Oh. You already knew. I'm sorry about that. It didn't seem relevant in the moment, and well, it's not something I'm exactly proud of. But it was during that assignment that the UC asked us to explore deploying terramorphs on the battlefield. The project never got off the ground, but the data our team gathered is now sitting in the archives, along with all the other information banned after the Colony War. Under the watchful eye of monitors from all the galactic factions still participating in regular politics. But if we can convince the cabinet to help us access that data, it'll give us the tools we need to decipher what exactly this sample might mean. And hopefully, how to prevent more attacks like the one that spawned it.
Why wouldn't the cabinet agree to help us?
I mean, I hope they will. But accessing the archives, it's not 100% up to them. They'll also need the consent of the other signatories of the Colony War Armistice, the Freestar Collective and House Varun, in order to unlock it.
Since neither group is exactly on great terms with the UC at the moment, for various reasons.
Exactly. It's going to mean negotiations and deals and plenty of diplomatic legwork to see this through. But I don't see a better option to solving what's going on here. So it's gonna be up to us to get them on board.
Not thrilled about you keeping information from me, but I guess I can help you.
That's all I'm asking. Thank you. Now I need to get this work up in the cabinet's hands. Once that's done, I'll meet you out front of Mast in New Atlantis.
Good luck. You two are gonna need it.
What do I owe this pleasure?
Only employees of Base Staryard's mining division are authorized to mine resources in and around Sidonia.
I would move the stars for you, leaving so soon. I was just thinking about you. Are you sure you must go?
Friend to one devil, friend to them all.
All right, well, unless this frame gen mod gets updated in the next few days, it looks like I'm rolling back my driver version. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So, I'm gonna call it here for the night. And do some testing. Christ.